You're the comedic relief member on the hero team that nobody takes seriously, and your weird powers make you seem like the weakest member. That is, until a villain kidnaps your entire team, and you decide to show them all just how much you've been holding back all these years. The trickster was generally known as a joke, less a superhero, more the comedic relief of the team. Sure, he had a variety of amazingly powerful gadgets, but he always made them absurd, silly things: a pie launcher that could somehow nail a super speedster and send him careening off to land, humiliated, with chocolate and whipped cream everywhere, usually conveniently in range of someone with some restraints. Balloon animals he made and somehow animated, that came to life and, briefly, fought before being rapidly deflated after providing a distraction at a pivotal moment. He liked to use themes like that. Clowns. Circuses. Toys. Not because he had to. But because he didn't want to scare people with just what these things meant. The cake part seemed to take most of the emotional emphasis off the cake gun that made a giant cake appear in midair above the target, massive enough to turn escape into a long, muddled nightmare, but fluffy enough to be harmless to any capable adult. Just because he liked to use themes like that, though. He walked up to the guard shack, wearing his standard outfit, a long trench coat, black on the right half, red on the left, decorated with a spade and club on the left, a diamond and heart on the right, lifted his top hat in a salute, and smiled. "Well, hello there. You've got some friends of mine inside and I need to have a chat with them." The guard just stared for a moment. And then started laughing. He tapped a button. "Hey, boss. Trickster just showed up." No idea how he found the place. He listened to an earpiece for a moment, then glanced up. "Look, the boss would be embarrassed to even have you in his cells. You leave, nobody knows or cares. Just go. I could shoot you, but who wants to go down as the man who shot the clown?" Trickster gave a slow nod, and set his hand on the barricade. It was a common design, a concrete block to either side, a metal rod covered with yellow and black stripes that could be lowered over the driveway. He ran a hand along the rod, and squeezed. The guard stared as the rod was casually bent and twisted in the trickster's hands. And shaped into a roughly humanoid stick figure. Which immediately charged forward, and slammed him in the face hard enough to shatter the skull. But aimed at the helmet, deliberately knocking the poor man out. As the trickster headed into the compound, followed by the stick figure, more figures followed. Ones made out of cars. Out of concrete barriers. All of them in humanoid or animal shapes as they emerged into the light. An alarm went out. They were taking things a bit more seriously now. As he approached the building, the sounds of gunfire were constant. Bullets being intercepted by his creations, guards being knocked unconscious, or, unfortunately, sometimes maimed or killed. His animations weren't perfect, after all, before a more serious threat emerged. The giant armored form of Sledgehammer, a 9-foot-tall woman who appeared to be carved out of stone, burst through a nearby wall, glowering down at him. "You screwed up coming here, Trickster. We would have left you alone. But now we've got to." Trickster simply pointed at her. For just a moment, a human-shaped mass of water appeared, before splattering and becoming a puddle. The enemy would likely believe he just turned her into water, or who knows what, but in reality, she was in the ocean, just offshore from a nice isolated island, close enough that, if she ran fast enough, she could get out before drowning. As he reached the stairs, more guards appeared in his way. But after he gestured again, and the same thing happened to 6 of them in his sight, apparently becoming puddles. The rest started to run. He could hear it on the radio. "Boss. He's got some gun that just transforms people into water. Sledge is dead, so are half our people !" Tilda. He chuckled as he started walking down. And walked over to the wall, giving a firm tug to a wire leading up to a camera. And the wire started to snake its way out, coiling on the ground. Lights started to go out, as he calmly formed it off into sections, figures made out of wire forming and marching off down the hallway. After a few minutes, he headed the rest of the way down. And arrived at the cells where his allied were imprisoned. The wiremen were already loosening restraints, freeing the leader from a power-dampening collar, and once Angel of Vengeance was free, he gave Trickster a grateful smile, then a worried frown. "Did you have to kill any of them?" He sighed. "A few. I'm fine with killing the man in charge, but aside from a few accidentals, everyone else has either been knocked out or given an island vacation. We might lose a few of them if they can't swim, or try to hang on to their gear." "Oof. I'm sorry. I know how hard you try to maintain the kid-friendly image. I'm sure she'll understand." Trickster glanced up at the ceiling. "Not your fault. That's between me and the wife. How did they disable you, anyway? I thought that visor I gave you protected you from that weird radiation that weakens you?" "Ugh. Hypnosis, I think? It all seems vague. I remember telling them how I was protected, and they made me remove it." "Oof. We'll have to consider an implant. Well, ready to go kill a supervillain?" "If you have to, I promise not to tell her." As if I could lie to her. "Come on.